Videos that at least have minor social value for the society, and maybe for those who are in doubt or in need or question some vital things and can't find the answers. So I'm gonna be talking about specifically my own experience, and this is a kind of a draft. Don't know if I'm gonna post it anywhere yet. But what I want to talk about today is sense of guilt and sense of feeling sorry for somebody, because I believe that those two things are extremely correlated and interconnected between each other. For example, like the more you feel guilty for somebody, the more you feel sorry for that person, and the more you feel sorry for somebody, the easier to make you feel guilty. And why I think that this kind of feeling is deathful, if you can say so, because it can easily destroy your life, make you feel that you're not worthy, and it actually influenced my life significantly, not in a good way, and it can take years of your life to recover from that. It can take a lot of your power, time, and even health. What happened to me is that, like my parents, they are people who like to manipulate too much. I don't think manipulation in any way is a good thing, but it's kind of socially acceptable in most cases, but still something I don't really approve. And especially if you manipulate with somebody else's feelings, love, or manipulate with sense of guilt. Sense of guilt is a horrible thing. It will depreciate you like super fast. You will lose your own worth. You will lose your own value if someone makes you feel guilty for something you haven't done, or even if you did something wrong, but the person who wants to make you feel guilty, just keep in mind that that person doesn't really want to be with you and doesn't really want anything good for you. It's just their own way to establish their own worth upon your value. So by depreciating you and integrating this kind of, if you can say so, integrating the sense of guilt into somebody is nothing else but depreciating the person. Even if you did something wrong, the person who you did it to will either leave or just forgive you, but will never make you feel guilty. If you start feeling the guilt, that means that you're being manipulated. You see, like, if you did something wrong and that sense of guilt appears by itself, then it's one thing. You should maybe apologize for that and or do the right thing. Doesn't matter how, but if you feel the guilt, then you should just do whatever it takes to fix stuff. But if you don't feel guilt, if you feel that you've been offended, and for example you had to leave, what was in my case, I left several times. I stopped interaction with my parents, with my family. Then I broke some relationships because I wasn't feeling comfortable, and now I regret so much. I can't even begin to convey how much I regret that at some moment in my life I started feeling guilty and sorry. I started it because I wasn't protecting myself from their manipulations, and every time they try to persuade me that they are the victims, though I didn't wrong them. All I did is just laughed. Every time they started persuading me that I did them wrong, I felt this massive sense of guilt. And trust me, if it will ever happen in your life, the moment you start feeling guilt, you have just to leave. Otherwise, you will regret it for the rest of your life. You have no idea how dangerous it is, or maybe you do. But if you don't, then trust me. There are reasons why you did something. And if those reasons are self-protection, if you did anything for your own happiness, prosperity, and well-being, and you didn't harm anyone in the process, then you have no reasons to feel guilty. And if somebody is trying to make you feel guilty for that, then just leave and don't even let anyone ever try to manipulate you. It will make you lose your own self-worth, and you will end up feeling guilty, which will limit your powers, which will drag your energy, which will do many others bad things to you in your mind, in your consciousness, and you will lose your time, which is the most valuable asset you have, because it's your life. Every second of your life is time, and every unit of time is part of your life. So just don't make anyone ever make you feel guilty. In my own example, it was just I left because I wasn't feeling comfortable around some people. It doesn't matter whether those people are relatives or so-called beloved ones or whatever. And you want to leave, you have all the right to do so, unless they really realize they did wrong to you and apologize sincerely. Maybe in that case, if they want to change, but people usually don't. In that case, you may, if you feel that it's right, you may come back. But if you don't feel that it's right, and you come back just because of guilt or feeling some sorry for somebody, that's the most wrong thing you can do, and that will harm only you in the first place, because those people who want to make you feel guilty don't care a bit about your well-being, no matter what they say, no matter how they persuade you. If you don't want to be around them, but they want to force you by pressing your feelings or a sense of guilt, or by making you feel sorry for them, doesn't matter what those people say. If you don't want to be around them, you shouldn't, because they don't wish anything good for you. You should be only around those people who care about you and care about your well-being. And these are those people that you should care about their well-being as well. In any other case, you will just lose your time, energy, and some unfixable things can happen in your life. You have no idea how drastically it can change your life. That's all I wanted to say. Maybe I will be more specific in my further videos. But just remember, if you don't feel guilty, those people who try to insert this kind of feeling into your consciousness, or try to persuade you that you're guilty, or try to make you feel guilty by any kind of measures, run away from those people. They don't care about you. They just want to use you. Use your strength, your time, your power, your resources. And sometimes emotional resources are much more valuable than financial resources. Because in the end, all your financial gains you get through your emotional resources, and intellectual and physical, mental. Without those, there will be no financial gains. So don't care about the money, but care about your mental state, your mental resource, your emotional resource, your physical strength, your inner power. Don't care about, like, losing $100,000 is not as bad as losing your sense of worthiness, or your, because without feeling worthy, without your mental abilities, without your physical and emotional health, none of the money in the world will be earned. But having those in check, doesn't matter how much money you will lose, you will still gain even more. So don't care about the money, care about your mental health, your emotional state, your physical condition, your sense of happiness and fulfillment, your worth of yourself, your self-worth. Don't let anyone ever make you feel guilty for not doing anything wrong, for doing what you want, but without harming anybody. And if you leave somebody for whatever reason, you don't actually wish bad to that person, but you left somebody, for example, because someone did you wrong, and you left that person. Don't, like, you were not feeling comfortable with that person. Don't let ever feel yourself guilty for that. Don't ever feel the guilt, and don't ever feel sorry. Don't let ever that person make you feel sorry for you left. They made you leave. You didn't leave because you wanted that. You left because you didn't want to be used. You left because you weren't loved. You left because you were not appreciated enough. And you had all the rights in the world to do that, and they have no right to treat you this way. And if you do something out of their reasons, they have no right to blame you. Anyhow, any means, they have no right to do that. And there is no reason for you to feel guilty. If there is any way that they try to make you feel guilty, it's just a manipulation. They just want to emotionally sink you dry, suck you dry. They want to use you emotionally or mentally or any other way, or they're fucked up maybe, or they want to enhance their self-esteem by lowering yours. There's plenty of reasons for that. They may not be that obvious, but that doesn't really matter. The thing that matters, if you did something that's right for you, without hurting anybody, like lying, manipulating, betraying somebody, if you just left because you were not treated right, for example, then you had all the rights to do that. Nobody has the right to blame you. Please keep that in mind. Don't make my attention. Don't make my mistake. And I don't want anyone ever to lose as much as I have lost. Bye.